You ever get those ridiculous social media scams where people pretend to be somebody you're friends with and tell you you can make a lot of money? I know I do. It's why I'm very excited to partner with today's sponsor, Aura. Aura is an easy to use app that essentially packages a bunch of services to stay safe online all in one. Aura protects you from scammers and hackers. They scan the web for all sorts of data leaks and alert you as soon as they find anything. Aura is like the offensive line for a quarterback, consistently offering you protection from suspicious and malicious activity. They have a VPN built in that keeps your browsing history and personal information safe and encrypted. They'll even alert you if someone's trying to open up a credit card or a loan in your name. Did I mention they protect all your devices from viruses, malware, spyware, and any other things so the bad guys can't break in? Aura can even manage what your kids do on their devices. You can set limits and restrict them from specific apps. They have a password manager as well, so you don't have to rely on an outdated Rolodex or that sticky note that's been on your desk forever. There are apps that do all of these things, but there isn't one that tackles everything the way Aura does, which is why I say Aura is a 5-man offensive line and you're the quarterback. So head on over to aura.com/JKB. You can find it in the description and start your free trial today. What up, folks? We are here. We are back. JE Live in the house. I missed a day. I apologize, but yeah, we're back. So today was pretty crazy. As a sports fan, as you guys know, or most of you know by now, I like the Devils. I started liking them about 3 years ago because I had never went to hockey games, and I started going to hockey games with my friend Kyle. And, now all of a sudden, essentially, the Devils are really good, and they just made a trade for a pretty awesome player in Timo Meier, a guy that I've liked a lot on the San Jose Sharks. So we're going to be talking about that. We'll be talking about the Lakers. We'll be talking about the Rams. Pretty much just whatever. It's JE Live, so we can talk about whatever. But I'm excited to talk to you guys tonight on this Sunday night. It's not 11. It's 10:34 Eastern time. And by you guys over in California or wherever you are, it's not that. So it's a little earlier. So yeah, I'm happy you guys are here. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I will be highlighting comments as best as I can. Hope everyone is doing well. So let's get into the first thing, right? The first thing for the title, because I broke the titles up into segments, left to right. You read left to right. So on the, essentially the graphic, you look left to right. And so the first graphic is Jalen Ramsey. Everyone's asking me, Jake, man, when is Jalen Ramsey going to get traded? Is he going to get traded? Do I have to return my Jalen Ramsey jersey? How is this going to work? And I can't sit here and tell you when he's going to get traded, if he's going to get traded or whatever, but I am going to tell you what I think is going to happen. Because right now, I believe the Rams are trading Jalen Ramsey. I really believe that. I don't think it's something like where there's chatter and, they've considered it, but they'll ultimately decide to keep him. It's not like Cam Akers. Cam Akers was on a very affordable deal, and no one wanted to give the Rams anything to make it worth their while, right? It didn't make any sort of sense to trade Cam Akers. You weren't going to get anything for him. You spent a second-round pick on him, 50 seconds, the highest draft pick you've made in the last 5 years alone. You weren't going to get much for him, and for that reason, they kept him, and then it ended up working out well. They chose to repair it and go in-house, and I'm glad they did. Personally, in team building, I'm not trading away a 28-year-old best player at his position type of guy, okay? I'm just not doing it. But the Rams are different than me, and I do believe they are going to do this because I believe that Jalen Ramsey is going to get traded due to contractual differences. I think the Rams are going to trade him. Now, personally, I couldn't tell you where he's going to go, but I think they're going to trade him and they're going to get at least a first rounder. I am probably not going to be very accepting of that. So fair warning, I might get a little pissed. If they don't get a first rounder, I'm going to get very pissed. But I'm at least trying to understand or prepare myself for a first rounder. Now, the Rams, they said remodel. They didn't say rebuild, claiming this is either a PR stint to try to save face, not admit defeat, or this is them saying we want to be competitive. Like, we're rebuilding, but we're going to be competitive, and we're going to try to win a Super Bowl this way, and this is what we're going to try to do. It looks like their eyes are on 2014. Opting to cut Bobby Wagner, before and not, make him a post-June 1st move tells me that they just wanted to get that off the books entirely. They don't want to owe anything in 2024, and they're just going to eat it all now. And that's essentially what they're doing, right? So I don't love it, but I do see the direction somewhat is that they have their eyes on 2024 as that year where now they kind of get everything back to normal. They kind of reset their cap, they reallocate their funds, and that's what we're looking at. So that is a little bit of a just a takeaway that I've noticed when studying their cap and what they're doing and everything. So why would they trade away Jalen Ramsey? Well, I'll tell you right now. I wouldn't trade Jalen Ramsey, but I feel like they're going to. And the fact that Tom Pelissero is putting it out there that they're likely to do it, and there's all this stuff out there that they're likely to make a trade, it tells me that they're going to make a trade. And Ramsey, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'm not trading him to the Lions. I'm not trading him to the NFC. If I am the Rams and my whole goal is to save some money, allocate that 20-something million dollars across getting different guys, I'm not going to, if I'm trying to win a Super Bowl still be competitive, I'm not trading him to my conference. I'm trading him the AFC. And the only way I'm trading him to the conference is if I get 2 first-round picks and if I get my pick back. So the Lions, like I said, would probably have to give away the first-round pick. They would have to get rid of both for me. I wouldn't trade with the Lions unless they were giving me the 6th and they were giving me the other first-round pick, because Jalen Ramsey is worth that. I mean, you can't tell me he's not. He's the best cornerback in the league. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I think the Rams are going to end up with a first, and I'm hoping they're going to end up with a first. Marco, he absolutely is. You trust me, you cannot find cornerbacks that do everything Ramsey does at the level he does them at. And you can't find cornerbacks that aren't willing to make a big deal and be divas and such. I mean, he's been such a leader. He helps develop these young guys. You should see him. I mean, this guy seriously is like an extension of the coaching staff. He is a mentor. So to just get rid of a guy like that, you better get a good thing in return, and it's not a down, like, that's the thing. It's a down year for him, but that's still arguably top 3 in the league. And PFF had him top 3. Now, I'm not saying PFF is the Bible, but what I am saying is that he was top 3 in cornerbacks. And the problem is people say he had a down year according to what? Like, what is the thing that's telling you he had a down year? Because that defense was really good this year and kept them in every single game in the fourth quarter except for one. Okay, that's the first thing. Second, I watched the tape. I watched every single game on all 22. Jalen Ramsey's down year is greatly exaggerated. He still looked like a top 3 corner this past season. Okay, and well, yeah, but here's the thing, though. With that, the touchdowns he gave up, I see this a lot. That doesn't determine how good a corner is. Because here's the thing. If you're going to go by touchdowns given up, then are we giving those touchdowns to safeties or are they out of the equation? Because we don't know the play and we don't know what the safety's job was. And, I mean, at the end of the day, he doesn't have great safeties behind him. Nick Scott, Taylor Rapp are not great. So, in my opinion, he's the best run supportive corner in the league. He's the best blitzing corner in the league because he showed you as soon as he did that, he got sacks. As soon as they let him do that, he got sacks. He's the most physical corner in the league. He's the best tackling corner in the league. He may not be the best pure cover guy, but he's one of them. And talk about overall athleticism, He's fantastic. So the idea of not getting a first for Ramsey isn't acceptable. You should be getting 2 firsts for Jalen Ramsey at that price. Just because he was young when the Rams got him doesn't mean he's still not worth that price. So to me, if you can't get a first and a second exactly, you can't make that deal. I mean, it's that simple. But I do think this deal's coming soon. I'm going to be upset. I don't think you trade a guy like Ramsey. I think you trade Donald before you trade Ramsey. This is an organization that didn't let Eric Dickerson retire with the team, didn't let Kevin Green retire with the team. I mean, it's not like, Isaac Bruce didn't retire with the team. Orlando Pace didn't retire with the team. Torrey Holt didn't retire with the team. Kurt Warner didn't retire with the team. Like, the idea that all these guys, so they've been there their whole career, and that, Aaron Donald we can't trade because, he all that, whatever. No. If you're going to trade any of them, you trade Donald. And tell me how trading Ramsey and getting rid of Bobby Wagner, in my opinion, tell me how that justifies keeping Donald. Why would Donald want to be there? Why would he want to be there? I mean, think about it. Why would Donald want to be around a defense that they're gutting to make the offense better? It makes his life harder. I mean, he just wants to win, right? But he wants guys around him. And like I've said, this is what happens when you get paid $30 million. This is what it comes to. But my point is that it makes no sense to trade Ramsey. You build around Ramsey. Ramsey's a cornerback that changes how you play the game. And Aaron Donald has 1 foot out the door. So, that's the thing. I'm not trading either of them. But I'm saying if you're going to trade Ramsey, or if you're going to trade any of them, you should be trading Donald. You shouldn't be trading Ramsey. Ramsey played all 17 games last year. We found out what, we found out what Raheem Morris could do without Aaron Donald. And honestly, it was impressive. It was impressive how he's able to keep everything together without Aaron Donald. But we have not seen him without Jalen Ramsey. We have not seen him without Jalen Ramsey. So, look, he's younger. No, I mean, Jalen's younger. Jalen wants to play. He hasn't been talking about retirement. I stand by it. I don't think you should trade any of them, but if you're trading any of them, it should be Donald. I mean, that's where I'm at. I personally don't think that they should play into the media's hands. I don't think they should stoop so low. I think this is dumb, and I think it could blow up in their face. But if they're going to, then it makes more sense with Donald, who likely won't be around as long, than it does with Ramsey. So, I mean, that's where I'm at on that. But anyway, going back to my point, they're going to end up trading Ramsey. I can already see it. They just better not get fleeced, because I've said it multiple times. I'll say it again. And we've all discussed this, but Les Snead doesn't get enough for players. He doesn't. And what I'm scared of is that he's going to be like, all right, he's going to make a deal where a team is taking on more of Ramsey's contract. So they'll take like a 3rd rounder in return to take on Ramsey's contract, more of Ramsey's. No. 1st rounder and a 2nd rounder. And if it's traded in the conference, like if the Lions want him, I want their 6th pick and I want their other 1st round pick. That's what I want. If I'm trading a guy like that, if I'm trading an elite level guy that can transcend and help your defense, I need both of those, or I'm not trading him. I'm definitely not trading him to, inside the conference if I don't get a good haul. So that is that. I think it's coming soon. I think it's probably this week at some point. So keep in mind, be alert, be ready. We'll have a live stream as soon as I can do it, as long as I'm not super busy. If I'm available, we'll have a live stream the moment it comes out. I'll have my, rapid reaction, and you guys will see me, and I will not be happy. But that's that. So the Lakers, right? And I'll go progressively over everything else. I'll, comment on your comments and stuff like that. But the Lakers just won a big game today against Dallas, and they're now the 11th seed. They have a chance to get back into it. And everything, the way, the way it's going, everything seems to be going the Lakers' way lately. except for the injuries. And so, you look at the injury to D'Angelo Russell, I'm a little concerned. You look at the injury to LeBron James, he said he popped something. There's some stuff out there, but guys are picking up the slack where they need to. Vanderbilt tonight, he had like 17 points and 15 rebounds. He's been very impressive, but he's been everything I expected. A young guy that just adds juice, whether he's starting or off the bench, hustle guy. So I'm very excited about the prospects of having Jared Vanderbilt in a Laker uniform. Malik Beasley has also stepped up in a big way for the Lakers. I think this team can be very dangerous as long as they make it. And I really do think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're trending upward. They're getting it together. They've took some bumps. Obviously, D'Angelo Russell getting hurt is not ideal at all. But I like the direction of this team. And they just beat a very good, very underrated Mavericks team. I think they're better than their record indicates, in my opinion anyway. And I was very excited to see that. I really liked that they finished that game. They won that game. This is one of those games that they've been losing all year. I mean, this is the type of game they make a crazy comeback. They were down, 27? They rally, they come back, and they lose. That's always how it seemed to have gone the whole year. But instead, they won this game. This is a revenge from January 12th, where they lost in double overtime to the Mavericks. They lost a 9-point game on Christmas, but that wasn't even close. It got close at the end, but it wasn't that close. So in reality, this was a big win for the Lakers. And I think, going 29-32, this is a road win nonetheless. Yeah, I just thought you saw some really good things out of that. And by the way, I had flip-flopped. It was Vanderbilt with 17 rebounds and 15 points instead of 17 points, 15 rebounds. Dennis Schroeder came through. So I mean, they have some guys that I really do like, and I think it's going to help them. They're playing more of the same rotation. Beasley's really fit in nicely, although tonight he did struggle a little bit from range. But, we saw it the other night. He was kind of the unsung hero. But this is what they're going to need, essentially, if they want to be, a contender, if they want to push for the playoffs, they're going to need this. So, looking at the Mavericks, I thought as soon as they put Vanderbilt on Doncic, something just happened to Doncic. Like, Vanderbilt is a very good defender. He's underrated. He moves extremely well. He's 6'9", 6'10" size. It's hard, when you have those long limbs and everything blocking your way. I thought they did a nice job of shutting down Kyrie from deep. He went 2 of 10 from 3. So yeah, I mean, a lot to like out of this win. And, the Lakers move on. They now have, it's a select few of games left, right? You still have 20-something games. So, I think it's 21 games now that's left. We're going to have to monitor the whole LeBron thing because that was a little concerning, saying he popped it. But this is a massive game on Tuesday. It's going to be on TNT at 7:30. The Lakers are heading to Memphis against the Grizzlies, who are 36-23. This is a huge game, okay? This is the game where, they got to be able to make something happen. They got to win that game. Then they got the Thunder, who are, they've had their battles with the Thunder, then the Timberwolves, then the Warriors, then the Grizzlies again. So if the Lakers can win 4 of the next 5, I'd feel pretty good. They do have some easier games, but it is going to be, for the most part, teams that are really in contention, that are on the outside looking in, that are really playing for it. And, you're not going to get the Suns every night, but like the Bulls are in the same position as the Lakers, almost identical. You get them back-to-back, games, obviously not on a back-to-back, but Sunday and then Wednesday. Timberwolves, that's going to be a tough game. The Magic, not so much. The Mavericks again, you have them again. The Pelicans are going to be a tough game. The Raptors are tough. The Knicks are going to be tough, although that's in LA. The Warriors are. So it's a tougher road ahead because you're playing a lot of teams that they're desperate. Desperate teams are dangerous. Then you go into April and you got the Rockets again, which is a good thing. You got the Rockets twice out of this next 21 games, thing. So that's a good thing. The Jazz, that's going to be a little bit of a tough one. Then you got the Clippers. So the final game against the Clippers this year, unless they play in the playoffs, you have that July 5th. Not July, April 5th. Then you have the Suns, and then you wrap up the season with the Jazz. So the Jazz are actually the last 4 games are going to make or break the Lakers, I think, because you got the Jazz, Clippers, Suns, and Jazz. Like you got to figure out a way to win almost all of those, depending on how you are at that point. But yeah, I think that they're going to make at least the play-in, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went further. Right now, the Lakers, for those of you who don't know and missed earlier that are joining in, they are the 11th team. So they're right outside of the play-in. The Pelicans are 10. The Timberwolves are 9. They're both tied, by the way. The Jazz are 8th at 11.5 games back. So the Lakers are 13 games back, tied with Portland, but they're ahead with the tiebreaker. The Lakers have won 3 straight. You have the Pelicans who lost 3 straight. They're 12 back. Timberwolves are 12 back. They've lost 3 straight. Then you have the Jazz who are 11.5. They've won 2. The Warriors have won 2. And they're 11 back. Then you have the Mavericks, who are the 6th seed at 10.5. The Lakers just beat them. Then you have the Clippers at 9.5, Phoenix at 9.5, Kings at 6.5, Memphis at 5, and Denver's kind of running away with it right now. So a lot can change. You have 21 games left. Certainly a lot can change in that time. But I would expect the Lakers to make the play-in game. They have a shot to get in that top 6. So we'll see. They got to obviously start stronger than they did today. But I think fans should feel pretty good. I think, getting that 7 or 8 seed is definitely okay. But I would definitely be striving to get out of that play-in and look at getting that 6 seed. That should be my goal as of right now. Damian Lillard just had a 50 bomb, and it's the 3rd quarter. So that's something there. Just got that alert on my phone. But yeah, so I like, what we're seeing out of the Lakers. I really do. They just got to keep it up. But some good stuff, and they got some youthful exuberance. You do like to see that, as long as they get, Russell back. They should be interesting. Can they win it all? I mean, I don't think you can rule out a team with that much raw talent. If they can get everything going the way they are playing right now, if they can keep this up, then yeah, I mean, I think they definitely are a team that you don't want to face come playoff time. So moving on, and we'll get back to the Rams. I know a lot of you guys want to talk Rams, but I got to talk about it. So very rarely do we see trades that are so massive, like in another sport. Like normally it's like the NFL, and honestly, not normally. It's normally the NBA. And now we're starting to see even crazier trades than we're used to. Like we saw Kevin Durant get traded at like midnight. He went to the Suns for a boatload of really talented players, really talented young players that the Nets got. We saw Kyrie get traded. We saw, Russell Westbrook, those trade, all that. The NFL is starting to adapt that, right? To adopt that a little bit more. You saw the Stafford trade right before the Super Bowl. You have the Deshaun Watson trade, massive trade. All sorts of trades that we're seeing. And, the NHL, we don't see it that much, but when we do, like sometimes there's a big trade. And today, the trade that the Devils made, and I'm going to be for those of you that are sticking with me on this live stream as I talk about hockey and aren't into it, I understand, but come with me a little bit. I'll explain it, and I'll explain it in NFL terms for people that don't know what I'm talking about. So I'll explain it the regular way, and then I'll explain it NFL terms. So the Devils are a team that I got into 3 years ago. Like I said, I was going to Devils games, and it got me into them, right? One of my really close friends, Kyle, took me to a Devils game against the Vegas Golden Knights, who are my other team in the West, as you guys know. And I just got really into them. I've been following them ever since, and now I'm a big fan. Just continue to really, really enjoy following them, watching their games. I really love the makeup of this team. And they are the 3rd team in the East. After being what you would call in NFL terms the so-so Rams of pretty much the last decade, the Devils are back. And they are looking very good. They had a crazy 14-game winning streak back in 2022, late 2022. And since 2023 has kicked off, after having a little bit of a rough skid, they've figured it out. They're third. They're behind Carolina and behind Boston. Boston looks like they're going to run away with the NHL. So the Devils had to make a move, and they decided to go out and get 26-year-old, arguably top 5 winger in the NHL, Timo Meier from the San Jose Sharks. I think it was an absolute fleece job, like you're saying as well. I totally agree with you. It was massive, and here's the thing. Here's the full trade. So essentially, the Devils are getting Timo Meier and Scott Harrington, a defenseman, 29 years old, could end up actually, starting on that the third line, if they need him, right? So then the Devils trade away Fabian Zetterlund, Andreas Janssen, Nikita Okotiuk, I always forget how to say his name, Shakir Makhamadulin, 2023 first-round pick, a 2024 first-round pick conditionally, and we found out that the Devils are going to be getting more because they're actually getting Timur Ibragimov, Santeri Hataka, goaltender Zachary Emmond, and a 5th-round pick in 2024. So the Devils have always kind of flirted with being spicy, but this is not a move that they've typically make. And the best comparison that I can make to this, to an extent, for anybody who's like, can you explain it in NFL terms, is that essentially this is like when the Bills made that big trade to go out and get Stephon Diggs. It wasn't really like them, even though they did make a trade to go out and get LaShawn McCoy in the past. They traded Kiko Alonso for LaShawn McCoy, in case anybody forgot that move. But it was definitely kind of a weird trade. Like I don't think people expected Stephon Diggs to go to the Bills, and that was a pretty big trade, and it's worked out well for them. Diggs is arguably a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. Whoever you talk to, they'll probably tell you arguably top 5. Timo Meier, arguably a top 5 winger. He is fantastic. He's a guy that can also, he can facilitate, he can take the shot, gets a lot of pucks on net. So this is a great move for the Devils. They're getting him. They have Hischier, like I'm seeing here. Him and Hughes is must-watch TV. I don't even think he's going to be on Hughes' line, to be honest with you. But if he is, all the power to that. But the Devils are essentially, they're going all in, but they're not. Because, basically, the way it is that the guys that I just mentioned to you, you probably have no idea who I'm talking about. Zetterlund was a top 5 prospect that came to the NHL. Now he's no longer a prospect, so to speak. So he is somewhat of a starter or whatever. But he's, they sent him and he was the main guy. Aside from that, if you don't count Zetterlund as a prospect, the Devils sent 2 top 12 prospects for one of the best wingers in the NHL. This is a massive trade for the Devils. And like I said, in NFL terms, this is like getting a top 5, arguably top 5 receiver. And this is a team to look out for, because I know there are Kings fans in here that follow the NHL. They may not follow on the East Coast, whatever. This is a team to look out for because they are ahead of schedule. They're playing with house money. And I did not think they'd be this good. They are already this good, and they just got Timo Meier, who is a free agent, and he's expected to have some sort of contract agreement on an extension with the Devils. There's a good chance this team could be around for a very, very long time. So I'm very excited about that. Very excited about the prospects of getting him in here. And honestly, I'm trying to go to a game because it's Timo time, right? So very, very excited about that. We'll see if they can win the cup, but that was that big move. And, I had to bring it up because obviously, like I said, it was part of today's big moves. In other news, my Yankees won 2 games today in spring training. Not that it really matters, but it was nice to see. And the Lakers won. So all my teams won. Jake Paul lost. So it was a pretty darn good day. Anytime your team is able to get a Timo Meier, you have all your teams that play on that day win, and then Jake Paul loses, I think you feel pretty good about your day. Sorry for you Jake Paul fans out there. I cannot stand that guy, and I'm glad he lost. Finally lost. against a real fighter or somewhat of a real fighter. So yeah, going back to the Rams, because I know I'm going to lose people if I don't talk about the Rams. Jake, I saw a rumor of a blockbuster involving third team with Ramsey, where we would end up with Jonathan Taylor or Derrick Henry. That would be really bizarre, and I would probably hate that, and here's why. I don't think that they should even be worried about, like, you should not be putting money into a running back. You have Cam Akers, you have, I totally forgot, Kyron Williams, there we go. You have those two, you can draft one. Like, the only way you trade, in my opinion, the only way you trade Ramsey is if you're getting first round picks. So, I mean, I can't justify it at all if it's for a player. I don't care if it's for an offensive lineman. I think maybe the only player I'd be okay with is if it was for Laramie Tunsil, but I think Jalen Ramsey is a better corner than Tunsil is a tackle. That's my issue. And I think Tunsil's a great tackle, but Tunsil is arguably a top 10 tackle, okay? Probably top 5, to be fair. Ramsey is the best corner in the NFL. So I would have some reservations about even that. But if it's for a running back, I will be so mad. I'll be so angry. Mary asks, is the pitch time clock new for the 2023 season? It is. So the pitch clock is something that I was told from people who, have talked to, the MLB essentially. When we're watching this year, it's not going to be shown. So you won't see the pitch clock. It's not going to be it's not meant to be a part of the game. It's not meant to be a part of the presentation. It's going to be out of view. So I guess they're just kind of, toying with it a little bit, but, I figure it's going to be out of view, and I think that's the right way to do it. The pitch clock, I think, is, I don't hate the idea of it, but I do think that, like, I'm more worried about the automated strike zone. I think that's more of a need, but they're still figuring that out. Anthony Volpe, yeah, he looks good. I think he's going to be the real deal. I mean, I think there's a chance that all these Yankee prospects end up being something that, we look at and like, wow, okay, this was a really good class. I mean, you look at Volpe, you look at Peraza, you got Jason Dominguez, the guy they freaking call the Martian, who's hitting bombs in spring training. Then, Spencer Jones. I mean, there are a lot of sluggers in this, this farm system that I feel really good about. So, we'll see, but I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited about Volpe, Peraza, and Dominguez. And Spencer Jones is a guy I'll wait on because I really wanted him in the draft, and they got him. And he kind of reminds me of a left-hand Aaron Judge. But, we'll see how he progresses. Clayton Beeter, the guy that the Dodgers traded to the Yankees for Joey Gallo. Clayton Beeter looking like a stud. So thank you, Dodgers. It looks like that's going to work out for the Yankees in all likelihood. So, cool stuff there. I already think the Lions are the NFC. I have the Lions in the Super Bowl against the Bengals. I know it's a weird Super Bowl to predict, but I don't think people realize how good the Lions are. And I wouldn't give you Jalen Ramsey for an 18th and a third. I would need both of your first round picks because I'm trading him to you, a team that I believe I could end up playing in the NFC title game. Like, if it's me and I'm the Rams, I'm thinking we're going to be back, okay? If I, gun to my head, I have to make a trade. I have to trade Jalen Ramsey, okay? And I have to trade him to the I have to trade him to the Detroit Lions, okay? But here's the deal, okay? Because I expect to be playing you in the NFC title game. That's what I expect. So I'm not going to make you better, right? I'm not going to make you better unless you're making me better. And so if you give me your 2 first rounders, then I can justify, okay, we gave you Ramsey, that'll be a problem, but we're getting 2 first rounders on the field this year. And that I feel good about. But I'm not trading Jalen Ramsey if I'm not getting those 2 first rounders. And I'm not saying that's what the Rams are going to do, but I'm telling you that's what I'm going to do. And then the 3rd round, absolutely not. Like, I'm taking a first and a second at the very least from an AFC team. From an NFC team, I'm charging you 2 firsts. That's how it would be for me. No, he's not going to be released. We saw last year teams seem hesitant to trade with the Rams and raise the price for them. With teams knowing they need to shed cap, do you see teams treating the Rams the same and lowballing them? I mean, it's certainly possible, but they're not doing anything that no one has ever done before. So, it's one of those things where I think now that they had the 5-12 season, I don't think they're necessarily going to be looked at as like the Yankees. Like that same thing that you're saying, Dingus, is exactly how the Yankees have been dealing with the trade deadline. They always get charged more. They're always asked for more prospects because it's the Yankee tax. Everyone knows it exists. Every insider has said it. It's out there. There are teams that charge the Yankees more because they're the Yankees. They don't want to trade their homegrown prospects to the Yankees, that have turned into stars without getting their homegrown prospects. Like the A's just love to fleece the Yankees because that trade, my God, Montas that might go down as my least favorite trade of all time. Makes me so annoyed. If Montas comes back in pitches, I'll be shocked. But anyway. But Darius Slay is not Jalen Ramsey. He is not Jalen Ramsey is the best corner in the league. I really like Darius Slay, but he is not Jalen Ramsey. I mean, I wouldn't say he'll be influential since he's basically a rookie that didn't get a chance to have a rookie season. I'm very concerned about Logan Bruss not getting a chance to have a rookie season, not getting a chance to develop, really focusing on just rehab, not able to really get better. I don't think he'll start this year. Like I think he's probably 2 years away because he lost a season and he seemed a little raw, like more raw than I expected. And I'll be honest, I think there's a player in this draft that they'll probably look at. They'll get him, and it might kind of push Logan Bruss on the outside looking in. Now, does it mean that Logan Bruss can't get a starting gig? No, but I think he might have more of a note boom. Yeah, I think it'll be more like note boom where he has to wait. That's what I think. I think he's gonna have to wait, and I think it'll be similar to note boom. I think Waldachuk Kareem, I am a huge Waldachuk fan, and when they traded him, I was pretty pissed. I was pretty pissed they traded Sears too. I'll be honest, I liked Montas. I wanted Montas, but I didn't like the price. It felt weird. Like it felt like we got fleeced, and then sure enough, it turns out we did. It's not my least favorite trade, I just realized, because the Yankees traded for Joey Gallo when I at no point wanted Joey Gallo. At least I wanted Montas. I'll take responsibility for wanting to trade for a starting pitcher. But I will I'll stand, like, I'll die on this hill, okay? Joey Gallo was worse than I expected he'd be, but I didn't think he was going to be good. Like, I hated that move. I never wanted that guy to begin with. I thought he was overrated with the Rangers, and I hated trading for him. I thought that was incredibly stupid. And sure enough, it looked like it ended up being stupid because he had the worst 501 at-bats in New York Yankees history. No one in Yankees history, and there have been a lot of Yankees going back to the 1900s, no one in Yankees history has had a worse 501 at-bats than Joey Gallo. Like, that says a lot. There's been a lot of freaking players, so the worst 501 at-bats. And, of course, why is that guy hitting 501 times? That's probably why they're the worst 501 at-bats. Why was he getting 501 attempts? Shouldn't have been playing. It's because they gave up too much for him, and they were trying to make do, and they were trying to figure it out, and didn't work. I don't know. I mean, I kind of get the feeling he might be, and I don't really. I mean, if you're going to trade guys like Ramsey and keep Noteboom, then yikes. if Ramsey is actually going anywhere, we better be getting a lineman or at least a first rounder. Like, I'll settle on a first and a second to the AFC. But anything less than that, I'm going to be upset. Good question. I mean, not like, so it's weird, right? Because kind of like similar, like for people that don't know, the MCU doesn't really tell you like anything. So the girl that was originally Cassie in Ant-Man, she got recast and they didn't tell her. She found out on social media, right? That's like how they do things. I don't agree with it, but that's how they do things. They're known for doing that. With trades, there have been guys that have suffered the same fate. They've been traded and they didn't even hear it from the team. They heard it from social media. They heard it from Twitter. Twitter's quicker than, apparently the message getting out. So do all traded players find out after the deal is set? I don't think they always do. I mean, I think you find out one way or the other, but I think sometimes they find out just via Twitter. Then friends text them like, hey, did you know you got traded? How long do they have to move? I mean, you're supposed to really, like, especially during the season when you're traded, you're supposed to move out there immediately. Like, they have plans for you. Like, they have, so you get the interns. The interns drive you to the airport and they already have a ticket paid for you and everything. Because what people don't realize is when you're dealing with millions of dollars, right, then it's chump change to buy these players tickets. So these players have movie tickets and all of that. And did I just say movie tickets? I meant plane tickets. I saw something about a movie there. Plane tickets, right? So they have plane tickets and all of that. And, they go out there, they meet the team and everything. They get settled in. And that's how it works. I mean, it's a tough industry. When you're in an industry that has player movement, it's also person movement. I think we oftentimes forget that. So while I might say, the Devils fleeced the Sharks and they only had to get rid of Fabian Zetterlund and Andreas Jan, those are real people that now have to move from the Devils. They have to move from New Jersey where they had homes, potentially friends, family, etc., not to mention just like teammates. They have to now go to San Jose. When they get to San Jose, they have to learn everything, how they do it, what their way of life is, the culture and everything. They also have to learn the area. So it's tough. It's a move that you don't decide. I mean, think about that for a second. I guess this is the price you pay for getting paid that much money and being a professional athlete. But when you think about, like, for my perspective, how many times, like, I almost moved to LA. I had that choice. And then the pandemic happened. And guess what? I didn't move to LA. I'm still in New York. And honestly, if I was going to move anywhere right now, if I had to move, gun to my head, I had to get out of New York, I'd be going to Florida. Okay. And that's my choice. Now imagine not being able to make that choice. Imagine a team and not even a team tells you, but you find out where you have to move because of a tweet. A friend texts you. They give you they send you a text like, hey, dude, did you see Twitter? You got traded. Like, that's brutal. And sadly, that's the way it is. Not all the time, but it is a decent amount. Guys get traded and they don't even know they're getting traded. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we're not done talking about it. We can talk about whatever. Highest bidder, but the bidder better be high if it's in the NFC is all I'm saying. I mean, it's very real that you don't want to trade those guys in the same conference. Do you still like the MCU? It's all right now, kind of wearing off in my opinion. I absolutely love the MCU. I really liked Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. I thought, Wakanda Forever was really good. I really do like that. So Let's see. Question, do you think the Rams are going to be respectful with Ramsey and send him somewhere he wouldn't mind, kind of like Robert Woods? I'm actually concerned about that. I'm concerned they're going to be like, yeah, we'll take less money. We'll let everybody know that he wants to go someplace, and then they'll get fleeced. They're not in a position to do that. To me, if you trade away Ramsey, you have to get a first rounder on that field. And if it's not a first rounder on that field, you got to get a first rounder, like regardless, like at least a first rounder. You have to have somebody to replace him. You can't get a third, fourth. No. Has to be a big time player. You have to be picking on day one if you're going to trade away the best corner in the league. There's no excuse. You just cut an all pro linebacker. How do you think this fan base is going to react? How are you going to sell season tickets? PSLs or whatever. How do you expect people to keep those PSLs? I've seen comments already on Twitter saying, if we trade Ramsey, I'm giving up my PSLs. I've seen that multiple times. This is not smart. You're in LA, okay? We've seen it. We've seen if you don't win, people won't go to the games. Not everybody, but people won't go to the games, right? You're competing against the Lakers. You're competing against the Kings. You're competing against the Dodgers, USC, UCLA. Obviously, they don't play in the same thing, but still, you get what I'm saying. You're competing. You're also competing with your in-house rival. Not really a rival, but they're still in the same area, the Chargers. So, I mean, how can you justify trading away a Jalen Ramsey and guys like that? I don't think you can, quite frankly. So it is a little bit of a concern of mine. As a content creator, as a Rams content creator, that some people might just not want to follow the team. They might just be like, all right, we're going into another rebuild. I'm not watching. I'm not interested. I think that's a real thing. I think you can lose fans doing this because it's BS. You tell me people wait this whole time. So people wait. Think about it. You get the NFL from September to January, February if you're lucky. Then you wait until the draft, which is April. And then you don't get to go and actually see anyone until August, select dates for training camp. Then you do the whole thing over. And you could say XFL, USFL, AAF, all you want, but it's not my team and it's not the NFL, right? I support it. I hope it does well, but it's not the NFL and it's not the Rams. I'm trying to look from a perspective of a Rams fan right now, other than me. Like, think about it. If you're not into the Rams, if you're not into the NFL, like diehard, right? Then you have September through January and sometimes through February. Then you have the draft. But if you're not diehard, do you really care on about April? Do you really care? No. May, June, July, August is when you start caring. So it's really August until January, unless you get, you have some luck or you're really good and you get to play in February. So think about that. You trade away Ramsey after the season the fans have had, going 5-12. You trade away Ramsey after all those fans stuck by your side, continued to go to games despite the fact the offensive line was makeshift as all hell. They had 15 different offensive linemen or whatever. Stafford wasn't even playing. There were still people in attendance. There were people in attendance, Christmas. You had people there on Christmas with Baker Mayfield at quarterback and not Matthew Stafford. No Cooper Kupp. No Aaron Donald. So now you're telling me that after a 5-12 season where these fans didn't even get a chance to see a full season with their starters, with their stars, and you're telling me now you're going to get rid of the two guys that played all 17 games on that defense? You're telling me that you're going to trade away a 28-year-old number one top of the line corner in the NFL? Then I have to wait until September to see you play? after doing all these moves? You think people are going to want to buy PSLs? Do you think people are going to want to keep theirs? Think about it. That's going to be hard. Because there are people like me that believe this team's going to win 10 games at the very least. I think they win 10. I think they're going to be competitive. I think they'll win 10 no matter what they do. I'll still be annoyed if they trade Ramsey, which they're going to, so I should stop saying if. But I'll still be annoyed, but they're going to win 10 games, I think. Third place schedule, coaching staff is intact. You know, you have a good coaching staff there. You have Matthew Stafford, you have Cooper Kupp, you have Aaron Donald. You know, I think they win 10 games. But think about how many fans will be like, And it's not you guys I'm talking about. And I'm not even saying people are wrong to be this way. But think about fans being like, I don't know about this. You trade away Ramsey. You cut Bobby Wagner. That was your move, folks. After going 5-12, the only people that have left the Rams, the only players that have left the Rams are the two biggest contributors on the defensive side of the ball. That is your big sell? That's what you're selling? You might get people that are like, hey, the Chargers have Justin Herbert. Chargers have a playoff team because they went to the playoffs. You might get people jump ship. Rams got to be careful here. They don't have all day. They can't just do, they can't just do a full-on rebuild. And they definitely can't lie to the audience and say it's a remodel instead of a rebuild. If they're doing a rebuild, they got to come out and make it obvious. Got to be real with your fans. I have an issue. I really do have an issue with the idea of rebuilding and playing into the media's hands. I think so many people were wrong and, they should just blow it up. They're done. No, I don't think they're done. They had a bad year, a lot of it injury-wise. I don't know. What's up, Nolan? That's an interesting question. I think I put together a list on Twitter. I'll try to find the list. I like Hardesty, I think, the most. I'll try to find it. It's so hard to find things now on Twitter. I don't know why. Things they already put, Let's see. Okay. This is my list. Got Deshaun Foster, UCLA running backs coach, Montario Hardesty, South Carolina's running back coach, Anthony Jones Jr., TCU's running back coach, Zach Robinson. We still have no idea what's going on with him. And Cadillac Williams, Auburn's running back coach. Those are the guys that I'm looking at to be the running back coach and take over, for Rashad Samples and Thomas Brown. Damian Lillard has 3:33 left. He has a career-high 66 points on 12 three-pointers, and he's chasing 70 points. Wow. He's going for it. How many of you guys think he gets? How many points do you think he gets? Because that's insane. Gilmore's definitely not better than Ramsey, and I love Sauce Gardner. I've covered Sauce Gardner. He was my number one, cornerback from that draft. But Sauce is a top 3 corner already, but he's not the tackler Ramsey is. He doesn't have the field awareness that Ramsey does. He's getting there. He's not there yet, so he'll probably be there very soon. But I'd still put Ramsey ahead of him. Just my thoughts, of course, but yeah, I'd still put Ramsey ahead of him. The Rams got fans invested with how they started building the team in 2019, had to before the big stadium opened. Now they are forced to remodel, rebuild, but can't say that to sell tickets. It's true. It's true. I still think they didn't have to do all this. This is I'm annoyed. That's the word I keep using. I'm annoyed. That's what I am right now. Annoyed. Yeah, but something that I often hear about the Rams, whether it's Les Snead or Sean McVay or anybody in player, that whole the idea of getting the most, like it's always we wanted to do what was best for the team. Well, clearly, if you traded Robert Woods for nothing because he wanted to go to a certain team and you're trying to do right by him, okay. But you didn't, that's not what's best for the team. That's what was best for Robert Woods. You're doing him a solid. And you're not getting Ramsey for a third. I'm sorry. It's literally not happening. But anyway, back to the point. That's the thing is that for every one of those solids you do, it's kind of, it's not for the team. It's not the best move for the team. How is it making your team better to get rid of a player like Robert Woods? And sure enough, their first offense under Sean McVay without Robert Woods looked like a train wreck. Now you could say injuries, but also Robert Woods mattered on that offense. Jake, isn't kind of disrespectful to Jalen to trade him instead of extending him to a lower cap number, build around him? It's like they feel a top corner isn't someone you build around. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, I agree. And that's exactly what we're talking about. It's BS. I don't like it. You can absolutely build around a corner. When you have a corner on the level of like Darrelle Revis, you have an all-time great. You have an interior defensive lineman that is about to retire in the next couple of years. Yeah, that's who I'm building around. I mean, the other thing I'd build around is linebacker, but they don't value linebackers. Bobby Wagner was just a taste. They don't want to invest in him, so whatever. Like I said, it's a first. For the Lions, it's both firsts. But at the very least, it'd be a first and a second. If you can't give a first and a second, you wouldn't get Ramsey. But who am I kidding? The Rams will probably trade him away for a fifth rounder. I mean, remember they traded Marcus Peters away for Kenny Young and a fifth round pick? Just because you're trying to shed some cap and save some space to get Jalen Ramsey at that point does not mean that you have to get fleeced. That was a dumb trade. The Will Hayes trade was dumb. Remember William Hayes for a stapler? I remember that. Robert Quinn to the same team for nothing. Boofy, thank you so much for donating. Appreciate you. You said Bengals. I think that's a good one. I think the Bengals are definitely a team to look out for. I think that's definitely a possibility. Dame has 69 points. My God, he gonna? Unfortunately, that game's gonna be over. They're not going to overtime. He's gonna run out of time. But is he going for it or? Oh, he's out of the game. Okay. Oh no, Damian Lillard had 71 points. They took him out. He ties Donovan Mitchell for the most points scored in a game this season. And 10 away from the most recent outburst, Kobe Bryant's 81 against Toronto. Crazy. That is some crazy stuff there. What is with us when we live stream? Like the craziest stuff happens. Like the other night we live streamed and there was like almost the highest scoring game in NBA history between the Clippers and the Kings. I mean, that was like actually there was a possibility we were going to see history. I don't know what it is, but lately it's like, all right, history, here it comes. I mean, I don't really care where he goes as long as it's the AFC, and if it's the Lions, then I would need 2 first-round picks. So, I don't like it. I just think when it comes to reputation of Rams, we're probably viewed more as player-friendly and a place guys want to come versus the... I agree. If they plan on juicing up the pass rush, they might be thinking they won't need as high a caliber cornerback as Ramsey. The funny thing is, we've had good cornerbacks for years now. Who knows what will happen? Nathan, that's true. And, that's one thing. Like, if they're trying to juice up the pass rush, I think it's smart. But I don't think you have to cripple your secondary in the meantime. And by the way, I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you, Darion Kendrick is not going to cut it. So I hope they have more of a plan than that, than just having Darion Kendrick out there with Jacoby Durant. Because Jacoby Durant playing alongside Jalen Ramsey, I thought would be a ridiculously fun tandem. A lot of athleticism, playmaking ability, so forth. If it's Darion Kendrick and Jacoby Durant, that's not going to be enough. Jacoby, he should be allowed to play off a guy. They should have another guy. And a big thing for me is actually, I was going to invest, if I'm the Rams, I was going to invest in the secondary. Like, I was going to go and go after a safety. I was going to look at corner. Like, I was going to bring in another corner with Ramsey. I was going to give him a number 2 and be able to have Jacoby Durant be that utility third corner that can play nickel and all that. But now you're saying that, nope, we're done. We're just going to trade Jalen Ramsey because we want that money for other things. Well, I don't like that. This is the point that I'm making about trading Aaron Donald. It doesn't make sense to trade away the young. I won't say he's young, but he's still in his prime and hasn't ever talked about retiring. And the way, Gilmore's playing, Ramsey could play another 5 years at a high level. So this is what I'm talking about. If you're trading Aaron Donald and you want to, be able to reallocate those funds across the defense, fine. But trading Ramsey, what happens when Donald retires after the season? You don't have your star corner, you lose your star interior defensive lineman, and this is what happens. That's how your defense becomes really bad fast. So that's my concern. And like I've alluded to, I do think they're somewhat following, the Chiefs playbook a little bit of building more on the offensive side, being more of an offensive-minded team, focusing on the offensive line, and not having the best defense, but just they play well when they need to, right? I mean, that's pretty much the Chiefs. Their defense has never been great, although this year they made the stops they needed to make, and, they played well enough, and they won the Super Bowl. I mean, this could be a pattern. We could be seeing this could be the copycat moment that's coming out. I mean, honestly, that could be part of it too. The guy's a cornerback and they have him in the star role and he's all over the place. So, maybe he doesn't want to be a part of that anymore. Maybe he's tired of that. I don't know. Maybe some of this is him. I mean, then you're not getting Ramsey. Like, in my opinion, that's what I would want. I'm not saying that's what they're going to want. I'm still not convinced the Rams aren't going to get fleeced. I'm hoping they won't. I'm hoping it's a first and a second. I'm hoping they just keep him. I'm hoping they realize how stupid it is to trade him to begin with and just keep him. But if they don't keep him, then I very much need more. Let's see. Boofy, thanks again for donating. I mean, I would want Bates with Ramsey, but I wouldn't want Bates without Ramsey. I don't think that makes any sense. Yeah, like I said, I'm preparing myself to be very upset about this. Like, I'm not even sure, because people have mentioned, would you trade Ramsey for Chase Young? I wouldn't trade Ramsey. So the answer would be no. But the thing about Chase Young, I have an issue with his injuries. Is that guy going to hold up? Washington didn't pick up his 5th-year option. Chase Young was one of the obvious number 1 pass rushers coming out of his class. Like, I mean, just a no-brainer. Clearly going to be a number 1 pass rusher. And they didn't even pick up his 5th-year option. That should tell you something. Those guys have the doctors on him. They know what's going on. Like, to me, that's concerning. Well, I mean, I thought it was F them picks, but I mean, I always want picks. I'm a draft guy. So, of course, I want them to be picking in the first round. I mean, I'd prefer to. Honestly, yeah, he stays a Ram and he gets to retire, go off in the sunset. Maybe that's the best thing. Maybe him retiring would be the best thing for the Rams. I don't know. I don't think it'd be a full $30 million though. I think there's something in there. He'd still get money even if he retires. Yeah, but if he's going to retire, then you're probably not going to get much for him. I agree. I think they're trying to do a half-ass rebuild. Like, they're trying to rebuild while being competitive, which I guess makes sense for calling it remodel. My concern is that you're trading the wrong people. If you want to continue this train, if you want to get this thing going, but you want to rebuild a little bit, you trade Donald. You don't trade Ramsey. Ramsey's the younger guy. Ramsey's the one that wants to stick around, hasn't talked about retirement. That's my thing. Then you look at Stafford. Stafford's not really a tradable contract. That's a guy that he can keep you competing. You can still somewhat rebuild with the $30 million you saved from getting rid of Donald or whatever. There you go. It's not like something you're supposed to do, but I mean, I am pretty sure the Packers tried to entice Brett Favre to force retire so they could use Aaron Rodgers. And when Favre wouldn't do it, they traded him away. Like, that's to me a real thing. Like, I'm sure teams try to do that. Oh, no, it's definitely less Snead because Snead's had those terms before. Like when he said, you don't just delete Sam Bradford. Then he deleted Sam Bradford. I don't know. Commanders are in the NFC. Yeah. I don't think they'd trade 2 first, though, if they're not going to even pick up Chase Young's 5th-year option. Well, Allen Robinson makes sense because that's the only way. You can't cut Allen Robinson. You're not saving enough money. It's just going to hurt. So it makes sense if you could find a suitor. Maybe you get a 3rd or 4th round pick for a wide receiver desperate team. That makes sense. I like Allen Robinson. He deserves a second chance, but that contract goes up to $18 million on the cap this year. That's a guy that you would trade. I don't know. I mean, I don't know who the issue is, so I can't say for sure. I don't think Demoff really handles that type of stuff. So It would be nice if our head coach, star defense player, and star quarterback would stop flirting with the idea of retirement. I would really wish the organization would hold them accountable. Well, that's the thing about the thing I love about Stafford is that he shut that shit down. He didn't waste a second. Matthew Stafford went on a podcast. He went on his wife's podcast and said he's not retiring. She asked him, "Are you retiring?" "No." "Okay, that's it." He could have made, like, if he wanted to be the center of attention and be a diva, he could have made it a big deal the whole year, the whole off season. He could have said, I don't know, I might retire. No. Because all Stafford cares about is winning and being loyal. Because that's a loyal thing to do. But there are other people that want to, fake retiring and all sorts of stuff. And that's the thing. And again, I know it makes me come off like I hate Aaron Donald. I don't. I can assure you I've probably been higher on him than most people that tell me that I'm an Aaron Donald hater. But I have an issue with the fact that, if you're going to trade, if you're going to do this remodel, you're going to be trading a guy who could be a face of this defense moving forward and a guy who's younger. And you're not going to trade the guy who's older and wants to retire. That's, I don't know. That's where I'm at. I could look, I could look that up. I'll probably look it up now. Let's see. What is that 2024? '24 free agency NFL. Okay, let's see. So 2024 free agents, market value. We'll go all positions. Okay, Chris Jones, Darius Slay. By the way, the reason you didn't get a lot for Darius Slay, if there's a Lions fan in here, the reason you got a 3rd round pick for Darius Slay is because he's not as good as Jalen Ramsey, and he was traded at age 30. So, yeah, that's why. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. Ramsey's still 28 years old. Anyway, back to my point. So, Chris Jones, Darius Slay, Mike Evans, Donovan Smith, Frank Clark. Well, J.J. Watt's retired, but he's there. DJ Reader, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon. The Cincinnati Bengals have a team option on Joe Burrow, Chase Young, Grover Stewart, Nick Bosa, Jeff Okudah, Quinnen Williams, Andrew Thomas, Tua Tagovailoa, Devin White, Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Derek Brown, Josh Allen, Jaguars Josh Allen, Isaiah Simmons, CJ Henderson, TJ Hawkinson, Jedrick Wills, Ed Oliver, Mekhi Becton, Jonah Williams, Andre James, Tristan Wirfs, Rashawn Gary, Javon Kinlaw, Christian Wilkins, Zach Seiler. It's hurting my eyes. Jerry Jeudy, Chris Lindstrom, AJ Terrell, CeeDee Lamb. It's giving me a headache. Malik Hooker, Austin Jackson, Brian Burns, Kayvon Chason, Jalen Reagor, Dexter Lawrence, Justin Jefferson, Kenneth Murray, Cesar Ruiz, Jeffrey Simmons, Noah Fant, Brandon Ayuk, Jordan Brooks, Patrick Queen, Marquise Brown, Montez Sweat, Noah Igbenogany, Calvin Ridley, CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, DeAndre Swift, Robert Hunt, Jonathan Taylor, Cole. Okay, so there's a lot. There's a lot of freaking guys that are going to be free agents. And I don't know why. That was giving me such a massive headache. No idea why. Does anyone get that? Like, they just look down at something in a weird angle and all of a sudden their head hurts? I don't know. That was weird. Yeah, the class is absolutely loaded. But keep in mind, a lot of these are team options, okay? So a lot of these guys will be back, But most of these are UFAs. So there is a lot of unrestricted free agents. So, yeah. Oh, man. I'm with you. I don't want to trade Jalen either. I don't think the Bengals would ever do that, but it would. I mean, it absolutely would. No question about it. The franchise tag is what kind of keeps it under wraps, but yeah. That'd be interesting. It'd be funny. He was supposed to go there before, but I don't think the Rams use their franchise tag on anybody. That would be cool. Where are we at on John Johnson? Is he a possible cap casualty? So John Johnson at 27 years old, he's a free agent in 2024. There's a potential out in his contract, though. If they post June 1st release him, they save $9 million and only incur a $3 million dead cap hit. He could be an option for the Rams after June 1st. He could. I mean, I think Ramsey's probably next and then Leonard Floyd, but they're probably both out the door. Let's be more productive here. Let's do more than just say this is what's going to happen and this is all right. Let's put together, let's use Spotrac and let's put together how the cap would look essentially with these moves. Okay, so manage roster. We're going to manage ourselves the Rams roster. Agree with that. DJ Chark's issue is he's had a hard time staying healthy, but I really do like him. I actually had a chance to hang out with him at the Senior Bowl after the game. He's a good dude. I could see that. Yeah, I mean, the franchise tag, some players like it, some players absolutely despise it. Oh, he was great. I talked about it earlier. Jake, the Rams could easily save $34 million by restructuring Kupp and Dahl, but it seems like they're done pushing money forward. I know. It's frustrating. That's the thing. They could easily figure this out by, doing that, by restructuring, but they don't want to do that. And I'm like, it's just, like I said, it's really frustrating. It's really, really frustrating to watch. Almost as frustrating as Spotrac is taking to freaking load this. Oh my God. All right, let's do. Maybe if we push this thing back, that's probably a little bit better. Okay, so not the Miami Dolphins. Oh my God. I clicked the wrong team. Spoke track lag for anybody? I feel like it lags for me a lot. Okay, let's manage this roster. Ready? So managing the roster right now, we're at 14.2 million over the cap. We released Bobby Wagner. That saved us $5 million. So we're at negative 9.2 million. So now let's say we cut Leonard Floyd, saves us $3 million. That doesn't really help. We'll trade Jalen Ramsey. We'll see what happens here. We'll trade him to trade him to the Jets for picks. So trade Jalen Ramsey to the Jets for draft picks. I think that's a good fit. Keeps him out of the NFC. So now Jalen Ramsey saves you $5 million trading him right now. Leonard Floyd cutting him right now saves you $3 million. The Rams are still negative $600K over the cap. They trade, say, Robinson. Someone mentioned to the Packers. I'll say they trade him. You know what? I'll say Texans. And I'll say Brandon Cooks, Allen Robinson trade. Oh, no. Nope, that was bad. That just destroyed my cap. How can I go back and reset that? God, that was bad. All right. I am absolutely game to do that, Scott. I just got to get the draft down more. I got to do more draft research, but I'm absolutely down to do that at some point soon. That'll be fun. Let's aim for that community. We'll call it a community mock draft using polls only. We'll do a community Rams mock draft after the combine, sometime after the combine, maybe around the pro days. So let's just say like March 20th, we'll do it. Sound good? Sound good for everybody? Let's do it. J Live community mock draft, post on Twitter afterwards. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. That's a good idea. We'll definitely do that. You might have to remind me just because my head's spinning with all this stuff I have to do. 100%. Jalen Ramsey would have to be a post June 1st move. Like, you can't trade him and designate the trade pre-June 1st. You're going to absolutely slaughter your cap. But if you do it post June 1st, you're going to save $17 million. Yeah, there's no way they're doing it pre-June 1st. They're doing it post June 1st. So, yeah, you save $17 million. All right, let's do that. So trade him the Jets. It'll save us $17 million. We're now under the cap. Leonard Floyd, are they? I get the feeling they just wanted Bobby Wagner off the books. They didn't want to have his 2024 hit. It was time sensitive. You know, you had the March 19th thing coming on. So Bobby Wagner wasn't really an option. You had to hit him off the books now. Saves you $5 million. You have $7.9 million under the cap. You have $7.9 million in cap space. So now you look over at Leonard Floyd here. Does Leonard Floyd have anything? And Leonard Floyd does have some stuff because the roster bonus, $2 million, is going to kick in on March 19th. So the Rams are going to have to decide whether or not they want to eat that $2 million or they want to trade him before that or release him before that. His roster bonus, $2.5 million. Unlike Bobby Wagner, his roster bonus already was tacked on as of last year. It was tacked on in 2023. The 2024 roster bonus for Leonard Floyd doesn't kick in until the 5th league day of 2024. So the Rams can wait. They can eat that $2 million roster bonus, pay that to Leonard Floyd, and then they can release him and or trade him post June 1st, saving $15.5 million no matter which thing that they do there. So they would be saving $15.5 million, right? So, yeah. Anyway, $15.5 million. You have around $23 million in cap space to play with at this point. What do you do? Well, at this point now, the Rams had $22.9 million. If Aaron Donald were to restructure, it would be 6.1. That puts you at 29. Then Cooper Kupp restructures, that's 39. Then, you already have Ramsey off the books. You have Floyd off the books. Now, you can't do anything with Stafford's deal. With Robinson, you could restructure and save about $4 million. But now let's see what happens if Robinson, who has an $18 million cap hit. What do you do there, right? So now the Rams, having trade Ramsey in this scenario, post June 1st, have cut Leonard Floyd post June 1st. So now you have Allen Robinson. What can you do here? Well, you have to do whatever you do post June 1st, but it cannot be a release. And here's why. It saves you $0 and you incur a $18 million cap penalty. However, you only have a $2 million cap penalty hit if it happens in post June 1st via a trade. Can't be a release, has to be a trade. You could save $15.2 million. So Allen Robinson ends up saving you $15 million, we'll say. Now you're at $54.6 million in cap space, restructuring Kupp and Donald, moving Allen Robinson via trade, Leonard Floyd cut or traded, and Jalen Ramsey traded. So what do you do with Noteboom? Do you restructure him, saving $3 million? Do you cut him? Let's see what Noteboom would do, what his contract looks like. So now we look at Joseph Noteboom, and the way his deal is, he has a potential out in 2024. So the contract wasn't really made to make a big move to it right now. If he's traded, it saves you $7 million. You incur an $8 million cap hit. If he's released pre-June 1st, then you have a $13 million cap hit and you only save $2 million. So now you look at post-June 1st release, and a post-June 1st release would save you $8 million and you would incur a $7 million cap hit. However, if you trade him, it's a $2 million cap hit and you save $13.5 million. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to say, we traded Noteboom, right? So Noteboom has been traded in this scenario. You save $13 million with Noteboom. You save $15 million with Allen Robinson. You restructured Cooper Kupp, saving $10 million. Donald restructured $6 million. Leonard Floyd traded or cut is $15. Bobby Wagner cut is $5. And Jalen Ramsey is $17.2. You're now at $68 million in cap. And that's your remodel right there. If you want to play with some numbers more, you can look at potentially, restructuring other guys. You could also, and this is certainly possible. I mean, here's the thing, we don't know how far they're going to go with this, right? So let's just say, for the hell of it, we'll look at Tyler Higbee. Does Tyler Higbee make any sort of sense? And right now, post-June 1st trade would save you $6 million. So do you trade Tyler Higbee? Also, if you cut Tyler Higbee, would save you $6.7 million. So let's just say, for the hell of it, you decide to trade him. So that's going to save you $6 million. All right. Now you're around $75 million in cap space. So think about that. You have $75 million in cap space, and we traded or cut Higbee, Noteboom, Allen, Robinson, Bobby Wagner, Floyd, Ramsey, restructured Kupp, and Donald. So what else can you do here? There's not really much else you can do. So let's look. Let's scour here. Brian Allen becomes the next target. So what do you do with Brian Allen's contract? So Brian Allen, there's an out in 2024. I think that was the plan with him and Noteboom. They were probably going to move on in 2024 with those guys. Anyway, the point is, it doesn't look like that might be the plan. So anyway, they can trade him post June 1st, save $5.4 million, and incur $800K of a cap hit. So maybe you tack that on. Let's just say, for the hell of it, you move Brian Allen. You save $5 million. And now you've made 9 moves to have $80 million in cap space. So what else do you do at that point? That's it. There's not really much else you can do. Everyone else is on affordable deals, rookie deals, etc. So now your most expensive players, Matthew Stafford. Your highest cap figure, your second highest is Aaron Donald. Your third is Cooper Kupp. Let's see here. Trying to get it to. All right. So Donald. So it's Stafford, Donald, Kupp, Havenstein, Ramsey's gone, Wagner's gone, Floyd's gone, Robinson's gone, Higbee's gone. So Jordan Fuller becomes your 5th highest paid player on the roster with $2.7 million in cap hit for this season, cap figure. So now, okay, let's just take a look. What can you let's see. 1 second. I totally just exited out of. Oh my God. I think teams are only able to do 2 or 3 post June 1st moves. No. Let me check on that. Actually, that's a good point that you're making there. Okay. Good on you for doing that. You could only designate up to 2 players per year as post June 1st designations if they are released prior. The rule enables teams to maintain cap compliance during the seasons. Okay, so 2 post June 1st designations. Bobby Wagner was a pre June 1st release. Jalen would have to be a post June 1st. Right? He'd have to. We're going to figure this out. What gets the Rams? What gets the Rams to where they want to go? We're about to find that out. That's correct. Okay, so we already have the pre-June 1st move. I think the post-June 1st moves would have to be Floyd and Ramsey. No, because that's tough. That's a tough one. Allen Robinson, they might have to keep Allen Robinson, man. His deal is not structured in a way for them to really get out of it. Yeah, I mean, the cap hit is ridiculous. They might have to keep him just straight up. You don't get any savings for releasing him post June 1st. Let's see here. So, Leonard Floyd. Okay, realistic. So, Leonard Floyd, there's an out here. Yeah, but that's a post June 1st. It would have to be Floyd and Ramsey. They offer the most. Floyd and Ramsey would be the guys. So we have that figured out. So now let me backtrack here. Let's say Donald doesn't restructure, whatever. Kupp restructures. He's the only one that restructures. Bobby Wagner saves you about $5 million. So Cooper Kupp and Bobby Wagner gets you under the cap. So they're probably going to restructure Cooper Kupp, and the Bobby Wagner move's done. So they're under the cap at that point, right? So for the new league year, they're under the cap with those two moves. Okay. So then we have Kupp's done. We have that restructure. We don't have Donald. We're not going to put that because I don't think it's going to happen. Leonard Floyd is going to stay the same. We're going to have Leonard Floyd and Jalen Ramsey being post June 1st trade. Jalen definitely trade. Floyd probably release, but potentially a trade as well. They're the same cap hit, so whatever. So anyway, point is, those are going to be our 2 June 1st that we designate. So you only get 2. According to the NFL. And Dr. Dingus, thank you for bringing that up. Now this makes it more authentic. Okay. Because I'm all about authenticity. Anyway. Havenstein. Is there anything we can do? Do we have any wiggle room with that deal? Because I don't think we do. I'll be honest, I don't think we do. So Havenstein's deal is pretty much set in stone. The only way to you can't even really get anything out of it by doing a post June 1st trade or release. So Havenstein will be a Ram this year. That's what we know of. Because you can't move that deal. Floyd will be traded or cut post June 1st. Robinson, right now, I think they keep Robinson. Pretty crazy, but I think he's going to get a chance. Looking at these numbers and the fact you have, those June 1st, you only get 2 of them, there's no way to trade Robinson. He will be back. He's going to get that opportunity, I think. So we're down to $58.2 million in cap space since we got rid of the restructure of Donald and we're not trading Robinson. We're not moving Robinson, period. So now, Noteboom, how does that work? Can you get anything out of Noteboom pre-June 1st? So Noteboom, you can. You can trade him. And I think they could. I think they could trade him pre-June 1st, would save him $7.5 million in cap space. I'm going to say that's what they do. Now, is there a possibility that they don't? Sure. But I'm going to say that's what they do. Noteboom, we're going to say he gets traded. Pre-June 1st designation. So where are we at that point? So it's 15.5. Okay, so pre-June 1st designation. Let's see. Damn it, I messed up. Okay, so now Noteboom pre-June 1st trade. All right, let's keep it somewhat realistic. If you don't think he's going to get traded, Jordan doesn't think he's going to get traded, we'll just... I think there's a chance he could, but we'll keep him at 15.5. I want the most realistic picture in your heads. We're going through it. We're trying to make sense of it. And I'll probably do another video on this, so if you guys aren't getting everything, totally understand. It's kind of all over the place. But so Noteboom, essentially, yeah, his contract stays the same. Okay. So Higbee, is there anything you can do with Tyler Higbee's deal? He's on the offensive side. Are you sure you want to do anything? Like, that's my complaint here. So Noteboom is out of the equation. Allen Robinson's out of the equation. Tyler Higbee, he doesn't have anything coming up where anything's guaranteed. This is his last year under contract. I'm going to say it's a June 1st trade, pre-June 1st trade. We'll just say it's a pre-June 1st trade. I think that's a realistic trade. I'm not saying I would make it, but I'm trying to make this the most realistic thing possible. So it's about $4 million that we're saving. And that's kind of like where I'm at. Okay. Yeah, Higbee. Now Brian Allen. Brian Allen staying. Brian Allen's probably staying. If Noteboom is staying, Allen's probably staying. They're probably not touching much of the offense. Like Higbee, they might trade Higbee. Allen, I'm going to say they keep. Okay. So yeah, this is where we're at. So Leonard Floyd. So they trade Higbee pre-June 1st. And I got to reset Allen. Where the hell is Brian Allen? I can't even find his contract anywhere. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. 6'2", 11, 7'6", 8. Okay. So that means all those moves, the Rams have $37.4 million to play with in cap space. And then you have about, we'll say $7 million takes up the draft. So you have about $30 million to sign free agents. Yep. $30 million. You have about $30 million to sign free agents. And sign other, All right, so let's go to that. So who is a free agent? Where are we at on this one? So we'll say $37 million right now, and then you'll have the draft holdover for the draft picks. Okay, so assuming that's just the way it is, and obviously there's context missing. We don't know if a team's going to take on Ramsey's entire deal or how that's going to look, but this is how it works right now, based on everything that I've been going over. $37.4 million without restructuring Donald, trading Jalen Ramsey post June 1st, trading Leonard Floyd post June 1st, or cutting him. It's the same either way. Not doing anything with Noteboom's deal, not doing anything with Allen Robinson's deal, trading Tyler Higbee pre-June 1st. This is what you're at. $37.4 million in cap space. So, and this would be accurate because the cap is the way it is. Like, it's not going to be going up higher. That's the way the cap is. So the NFL isn't increasing the cap. The cap is already in there at $225 million. Okay. Got that figured out. Now free agents. This is who you have available. You have A'Shawn Robinson, Taylor Rabb, David Edwards, Greg Gaines, Matt Gay, Troy Hill, Baker Mayfield, David Long, Nick Scott, Matt Warzek, Riley Dixon, Brandon Powell, John Wolford, Marquise Copeland, Christian Roseboom, Michael Hoyt, Bryce Perkins, Jake Gervais, Ode Ibushi, Matt Skura, Sean Jolly, Ty Inseki, Grant Haley, Traven Howard, and Malcolm Brown. So going back, if you guys didn't watch it, you can watch it afterwards, after I'm done with this live stream. But going back, in case you guys didn't watch it, Cam and I talked about it on Believe in Rams, and it might make sense for the Rams to go more cheap. And I understand people might not like it, but let's be real here. Like, they're in a little bit of they're in something here. They kind of put themselves in this position. So, they could go a little cheap. So let's try to figure this out. What would a Rams offseason look like? And I'll do a mock offseason video. Don't worry about that. This is just kind of live, off the cuff, with everything in front of me. Just doing it, right now. Okay. So let's think about this. Let's go to the New York Jets. Sign George Fant. We'll say Fant has a cap hit, not necessarily $1 million per year, right? But a cap hit of $2.5 million kicks in this year. Cool. George Fant is our new left tackle. Just, dig with me here. So then you got, let's see here, Mike White, the Rams' new backup quarterback. We'll say $2.5 million cap hit. Maybe he gets paid a little bit more. Maybe he gets paid a little bit less. $2.5 million is realistic. The Rams have $32 million, and they've signed a backup quarterback, and they've signed a backup tackle, or a starting tackle. So now Nate Herbig, adding some guard depth. We'll put $2.5 million. So the Rams, I know signing 3 Jets seems kind of odd, but I think it makes a lot of sense. You're at $29.9 million in cap. Now we look over at the Rams. What do the Rams players look like here? So with the Rams free agents, the way they are, let's bring up the market values according to Spotrac. And this is what we have for the Rams market values. Taylor Rapp, $10.1 million, will not be back with the Rams. Okay, so that's not happening. Let's see here. Okay, Taylor Rapp, $10 million. No, that's not happening. A'Shawn Robinson, about $8 million. Greg Gaines, $7 million. I think they might bring Gaines back. They might do it. I don't know if they're going to do it. I'm a little scared with the Jalen Ramsey trade and everything, but I think they might do it. So let's just, let's say here. Why is it so loud all of a sudden? Do you guys hear that? Like, what the hell? I have this freaking iPad muted and it's going to do that. Okay. It was just a weird glitch. I don't know. That was obnoxious. Okay, so average annual salary is $7.7 million for Greg Gaines over 4 years. We will put let's see. Oh, that's funny. Okay. So Greg Gaines, what's a good cap hit number for him? Let's see what A'Shawn Robinson is by comparison. So the Rams got A'Shawn Robinson's cap hit when they first got him. His contract, let's see. It's not showing me a year to year. Awesome. Is it? I don't know. They got A'Shawn Robinson's cap hit low, but they like backloaded it. Okay, let's say it's 6.5 million cap hit, right? So Greg Gaines, 6.5 million cap hit this year. Now you have $23.4 million. You got Greg Gaines back. You got Fant. You got White, you got Herbig. You got a guard, a tackle, and a backup quarterback. You brought back A'Shawn Robinson. Thank you so much, Alec. Appreciate you donating. The TVA. He kills me, man. Nolan is one of the funniest people I've ever met. Anyway, A'Shawn Robinson, I don't think they're going to bring back, and it's going to hurt me. But I think it's one or the other, and I think they're going to choose Gaines. That's what I think. Baker Mayfield will not be back. Matt Gay, his average annual. All right, so his is $5 million, but just because it's $5 million doesn't mean that's the cap hit. So let's just give Matt Gay a $3 million cap hit to kind of simulate something close, because it's not average annual. It's based on cap hit. They could structure it in a way that doesn't kill the cap. So you got your kicker back, who is non-negotiable. You got to bring him back. $20 million. You got $20.4 million left. You got Matt Gay, Greg Gaines, Nate Herbig, Mike White, and George Fant. So now what else do you have? Troy Hill. I don't think they're going to bring him back. I don't think they're going to bring back Ibushi. So, okay. So let's just say that's what they do there. And then who else do they need? So let's see. We got David Edwards. Do they bring back David Edwards? We'll say they do for $2 million. So David Edwards is back in the background. That whole concussion thing is obviously serious. It's 2 concussions. So something to monitor there. David Long, I think, is gone. Nick Scott, I think, is gone. Matt Orzek, the long snapper, we'll just put in, like $900K. Well, it's cap hit, so yeah. $700K. Cool. So they have $17.7 million. Riley Dixon, do they bring him back? I don't think so. Brandon Powell, no. John Wolford, no. Marquise Copeland. So here's the tricky part. We have to go find what these would be. Let's see. Because restricted free agents are going to be a little bit different. So I want to I don't know. I want to make it so it's easier to digest. Let's see here. I'm trying to find the actual, because there's going to be a certain number. You have to place a tender. Like, what is the ERFA tender, exclusive rights free agent? ERFA tender 2023. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Let's just put Copeland will be back. Hoyt will be back. Roseboom, Perkins in some capacity. Those guys will be back. So, at least I think so anyway. So let's just put all those guys at $1 million. Putting all those guys at $1 million. No, not again. Dear God. Okay. Okay, so that puts you about $13 million, $13.7 million left over after you've paid Copeland, Hoyt, Roseboom, Perkins, David Edwards, Matt Gay. Let's see. Nate Herbig, Mike White, George Fant. You haven't done like a ton in free agency, but you know. So okay, so that's where we're at right now. With all that, $13.7 million, and is Howard also? I think they probably bring back Traven Howard too. Oh, he is. Okay, yeah, I'll say they bring him back. So that puts them at 12.7. And this is just a rough guesstimate, obviously. So $12.7 million in cap space. And now, let's see. So Hoyt, Copeland, Perkins, Howard, Roseboom. You got Matt Gay signed. You got Greg Gaines signed. You got David Edwards signed. Okay. So then you sign Herbig, Mike White, and Fant. And then how do you want to do this? Let's see. What do you guys think? I'll leave it up to you. We got $12.7 million left to spend. What do you want to spend that on? Who do you want to spend that on? Also, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you haven't already. We're at 55. We got 100 people in here still. It's 12:30 a.m., so appreciate you guys sticking with me as always. Let's see. My thing is, though, like, with what money, though? You know what I mean? We're at 12.7 with all the stuff we had to do to get there. Fant will be cheap. Fant is more, I mean, he's less injury prone. I really don't think they're going to go after Lawan. No. I think Lawan's going to be expensive by name, if anything. Maybe. But, like, what else do you think? So, assuming this is what the Rams did, first off, would you be okay with it? Second, let me know, following that, what you think the Rams should do after everything that we've done. Safeties. Strong O-line, D-line. Well, yeah, that's why I only have them bring back like Greg Gaines. So, I mean, you know, another solid DB. Gaines, yes. I think Robinson and leaves. Or they choose Robinson over Gaines. Gaines is younger, so I think they're going to stick with Gaines. Yeah, Greg Gaines is like 25 years old. Oh my God, load. Why does this take forever? Try to look up those free agents for you. All right, let's go to secondary. Anybody? Yeah, no, you're right. I'm going to stop myself right there. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They're not adding anything in the secondary. They just traded. In this scenario, they traded Jalen Ramsey. They might add like Mike Hughes or like Isaiah Oliver or somebody like that. But they're not. Yeah, they're not going out and getting anybody big. Yeah, I'm going to stop myself right there. I don't think they're going after anybody in free agency. For secondary, unless it's really low value. So yeah, let's just say they're bolstering their offense. They're bringing back Allen Robinson. They're bringing back Cooper Kupp. You can see the picture of what this team is trying to be. They're 12.7 million left over. So what could they do? What is a possible thing that they could do here? And you know what? I kind of gravitate towards adding another receiver. Who could that receiver be? I mean, Odell Beckham Jr., Robert Woods. I don't know. What do you guys think? Could they bring back Robert Woods? Do you think that's an option? I mean, there are definitely some guys here that I like in this class. But yeah, do you think Robert Woods, OBJ, Juju Smith-Schuster, Myers wants like ridiculous amounts of money. No, I think OBJ or Robert Woods, I think they could consider. You could see that. Anybody but Juju. Not a fan? All right. Edge. I could see Edge. I could see Edge. I don't know. I could also see them drafting somebody. Well, no, that's right, because you got rid of Leonard Floyd. And you got rid of Leonard Floyd in this scenario because he was just too much money. You like Leonard Floyd. You like his play. You know, the production's there. It's just that's a lot of money. So who could they go after? Dante Fowler Jr.? I don't know about that. Okoronkwo's a free agent. Does he fit in their plans? I don't know. Do you try to bring in Cleveland Farrell at 25 years old, have him compete? Marcus Davenport's going to be expensive. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, kind of stumped on this one. As far as edge goes. Yeah. Not sure what you do. Right now, Daniel Hardy and Michael Hoyer are your only edge defenders, so maybe you draft one. You definitely would have to draft one. Yeah, but they can't move Robinson if they're, and I don't. Do you think maybe they move Robinson and keep Floyd? Is that what I'm missing here? Is that the piece to this proverbial puzzle? Tough. Certainly tough. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, trying to make it all work. $12 million. All right. Fant, White, Herbig, Gaines, Matt Gay, David Edwards, Matt Orzek, Marquise Copeland, Mike Hoyt, Christian Roseboom, Bryce Perkins, Traven Howard. 12.7 million left. Is that enough? Do you bring back OBJ? I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. This has me stumped, folks. Is there a pass rusher I really like? Well, I mean, that would be the case with anybody, though, right? I mean, you think about it. This is so tough. How much money? Let me go back to the origin of all this. How much money again does that could be it? Allen Robinson gets traded. Leonard Floyd stays, but restructures. I don't know. This is tough. Who saves more money? That's the one that if you trade Jalen, it better be post June 1st designation because you only get 2 and Jalen saves you a lot of money. 17 million. It's the most that anybody can save you. But Leonard Floyd saves you $15.5 million with a trade or release post June 1st. Allen Robinson saves you 15.2 as long as you're able to trade him. Okay, that makes more sense. We're going to trade Allen Robinson. Yeah. What was I thinking? We're going to trade Allen Robinson. I actually know what I was thinking. I was thinking about how Leonard Floyd started talking about his fate, his fate with the Rams or whatever. Or not his fate, but it was just, he hinted with that deleted tweet. So, yeah, I'm going to say they hang on to him. And they ask him to take maybe a pay cut or something. But, yeah. Okay, cool. So, Leonard Floyd stays. Let's see. He restructures, saves you $6 million. That gives you $18 million in cap space. It neither easy, right? It's all a puzzle. Yeah. So okay. So yeah, we figured that out. Leonard Floyd stays. In this scenario, not saying he's going to. He could absolutely, something could happen. Don't hold me to any of this. This is just in this hypothetical scenario that we're trying to create. They added 2 void years to his contract, clearing $12 million in cap space last year alone. They converted $15 million of his 2022 contract into a signing bonus. Okay, so anyway, that's where we're at right now. We got $18 million with a Leonard Floyd restructure. That keeps him with the team. That keeps edge. At least one outside linebacker is intact. So let's look at our roster, right? The roster that we have so far. And oh my God, I didn't realize we've been streaming for 2 hours. Time flies when you're having fun, I guess, folks. Anyway, let's talk about it. So, quarterback, Matthew Stafford. Running back, Cam Akers, Kyron Williams. Wide receiver, you got Cooper Kupp. You traded Allen Robinson, so it's Cooper Kupp, it's Tutu Atwell, it's Van Jefferson, it's Ben Skoranek, right? Those 4. So you could definitely go out and get another receiver. Tight end. In this scenario, we traded Tyler Higbee away. So you're going to draft a tight end. Right? Yeah. Drafting a tight end. You got Bryson Hopkins and Jacob Harris. I don't think Jacob Harris is in play. So Bryson Hopkins, you're going to draft a tight end this year. We got that out of the way. Offensive line. So where are we on the offensive line? Well, so here is the breakdown. Let's see. Okay. And again, this is somewhat guesstimated. But anyway. Offensive line. So tackle. You have Noteboom under contract. This is 2023. So Noteboom's under contract. Havenstein's under contract. Alec Jackson's under contract. You have AJR Curry. You have Zach Thomas and Maximilian Percher. You added Fant. So that's 7 tackles, 6 of which could be rosterable. Max Percher is a foreign exchange player, essentially, the IPP program. So, he'll be on the practice squad automatically. So you have that. So you have 6 tackles. Maybe Zach Thomas or Curry don't make it, but you have 6 tackles now after getting Fant in this hypothetical. Guard, you have Coleman Shelton, Logan Bruss, Tremaine Ankrum. Now I just added Edwards back, which makes it 4. And then I added Herbig in, which makes it 5. Plus you have Brian Allen. So with that said, your offensive line is in total, you have 12 offensive linemen. Well, 13 going into training camp. You can sign some, UDFAs, right? Sign maybe 3 of them. About 16, get them all in there, and then you cut it down. You have them play in preseason, all that. And then let's say you start the season with Noteboom, Havenstein, Jackson, R. Curry. That's 4 right there. Fant is 5. Shelton 6. Allen 7. Ankrum's 8. Bruss is 9. Edwards is 10. Herbig's 11. So you got 11 offensive linemen. Okay? You got 11 offensive linemen going into the NFL season. That's not even including the draft. So let's say you draft one. Now you have 12. Okay. So yeah. All right. Let's do that. Let's have that. Because you added Fant. You'll have them battle it out. You can't just count on Noteboom to be the left tackle. He's coming off a severe Achilles tear, all that. So anyway, yeah. Offensive line settled. Defensive line, how does this look? You got Jonah Williams. You got Ernest Brown, Zach Van Valkenburg. You got Aaron Donald, Bobby Brown, Laurel Murchison, and TJ Carter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. I added Gaines, so I have 8 defensive linemen going into next year for the training camp. And let's say you keep Greg Gaines, Aaron Donald. This is just a rough thing, folks, but I'm just trying to give you an idea. Also Copeland is back too. Forgot about that. So Copeland. So you have Copeland, Gaines, Donald in this scenario. Jonah Williams, that's 4. Brown is 5. Murchison would be 6. And then Bobby Brown would be 7. So let's just say 7 for now. Probably wouldn't keep 7 defensive linemen, but that's that. Okay. Edge. Where are we at edge? You keep Leonard Floyd. Leonard Floyd is 9.7% of the cap next year. So we restructured him. Leonard Floyd you have. Then you have Mike Hoyt. So that's 2 guys on the outside. Daniel Hardy is 3. Keir Thomas is 4. Braden Thomas is 5. Those are 5 guys. Then going in the draft, they'll probably draft a edge, whatever. That's that. So that's how we have that. Linebackers, inside linebackers, you have Ernest Jones, Jake Hummel, and we brought back Traven Howard and Christian Roseboom. So maybe draft the linebacker. I would say draft the linebacker. So that would leave you like 5. Okay. Corners. Trading Ramsey, you would have Darion Kendrick, Kobe Durant, and Robert Rochelle, and TJ Carter. So in that case, Jacoby Durant's your number 1, Darion Kendrick's your number 2, Rochelle's your number 3. Probably drafting some corners there. Maybe signing one. I don't know. That's tough. Maybe you bring back Troy Hill. I don't know. Safety, Jordan Fuller, Rashad LeCount, Quentin Lake, and Russ East. I think you draft a safety or you bring another one in. So that's where it stands right now. So based on what I'm seeing here is that, I forgot, running backs, Cam Akers, Kyron Williams, Ronnie Rivers. I think they draft one. For the wide receiver, that was running backs. Wide receivers and quarterback is Matthew Stafford, Mike White, and Bryce Perkins in this hypothetical. And then wide receivers would be Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, Tutu Atwell, Ben Skoranek, J.J. Koski, Lance McCutcheon, Austin Trammell, Jakari Roberson, and Jareth Stearns. So I think they definitely are in play for an OBJ or a Robert Woods. I'm going to say with $18.9 million left, I'm going to say they add Odell Beckham Jr. to the list. So I'm going to say they add Odell. I'm going to say they bring him back. I know he wants to win. I think Robert Woods is going to go somewhere else, but I think they want OBJ back. They're going to talk him into a high-powered offense. They're going to talk him into we haven't been the same since you left, yada yada. I think they bring him back. I think that's what we're looking at right now. I think Odell could be back with the Rams. Then you got Kupp, Odell, Jefferson, Atwell, and Skoranek as a starting 5. Maybe you keep McCutcheon or somebody like that on the roster, but you can go down to 5 at wide receiver. It's not overly done. Maybe you draft a wide receiver as well. So you go down to 5 at receiver. It'll help you be able to keep guys in the trenches. You can keep more guys on your offensive line under the 53. You can keep more guys on your defensive line. Also, when is the... One second. I got to check something real quick. NFL. I'm trying to find, because I thought there was going to be an expanded roster. But I don't know if it's 2024 or 2025. I don't know. I'm not seeing it anywhere on here. I used to find better results on Google, and I'm not seeing it. But yeah, I thought they were expanding the roster. I don't know. I guess they're not. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. So $18.9 million. I think some of it goes to either OBJ or Robert Woods. I think they bring in another wide receiver. I think they keep that receiver room more. They're going to keep more guys in their practice squad. I think they'll go in with 5. I don't think they're going to overdo it. I think they're going to keep a boatload of offensive linemen this year on the 53, just in case everything they went through. Yeah, I think, we could see a veteran signing at cornerback, a cheap veteran maybe to kind of guide these young guys. But for the most part, I think you're going to see a lot of draft picks that, towards, in my opinion, I think you go towards the tight end because it would just be Bryson Hopkins, Jared Pinkney, and Roger Carter in this scenario since we traded Tyler Higbee to create some room. I don't think you have to trade Higbee, to be honest with you. I think you keep him. But in this scenario, he was traded. I think there's enough here for the Rams where this team can definitely win. Now, they're going to need some help in the secondary to patch that up, but that's kind of where I'm at. So I think I'll hang up now that it's almost 1 a.m. on the East Coast and it's Monday, and I know people have to go to work and everything. So appreciate you guys, being on with me. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't already. Thumbs up if that also helps you out. Be sure to also subscribe if you haven't. I'll be doing a live stream tomorrow, and any information I have on Jalen Ramsey and all of that, I'll put that out as well. But I think that's going to do it for tonight since we've gone over 2 hours, and I was not expecting to go this long, but I'm glad we did. Couldn't figure out what I wanted to do for the live stream tonight. So, we talked about Jalen Ramsey. We talked about the Rams. It turned into more of a Rams show, but, we talked Lakers earlier. We talked Timo Meier going to the New Jersey Devils, my hockey team. So, yeah, if you guys want to check that out, there's always a replay feature for this, and you can go back and you can watch things that you missed, but definitely be sure to hit that like button. Like I said, we have 94 people in here, only 60 likes. Really does help out the channel if you hit that thumbs up. Just a reminder, if you're on mobile, you might have to drop out of the chat and just go to the regular video and then hit the like that way. But anyway, that's going to do it. Now, here is a word from Aura. You ever get those ridiculous social media scams where people pretend to be somebody you're friends with and tell you can make a lot of money? I know I do. It's why I'm very excited to partner with today's sponsor, Aura. Aura is an easy-to-use app that essentially packages a bunch of services to stay safe online all in one. Aura protects you from scammers and hackers. They scan the web for all sorts of data leaks and alert you as soon as they find anything. Aura is like the offensive line for a quarterback, consistently offering you protection from suspicious and malicious activity. They have a VPN built in that keeps your browsing history and personal information safe and encrypted. They'll even alert you if someone's trying to open up a credit card or a loan in your name. Did I mention they protect all your devices from viruses, malware, spyware, and any other things so the bad guys can't break in? Aura can even manage what your kids do on their devices. You can set limits and restrict them from specific apps. They have a password manager as well, so you don't have to rely on an outdated Rolodex or that sticky note that's been on your desk forever. There are apps that do all of these things, but there isn't one that tackles everything the way Aura does, which is why I say Aura is a 5-man offensive line and you're the quarterback. So head on over to aura.com/JKB. You can find it in the description and start your free trial today.